Welcome to the W2W review. My name is Jason Smith, also known as The Knight. Just welcome you in here today on March 20th, 2019, as we get ready to talk a little Raider football. In fact, we're going to talk a little bit of Vontaze Burfoct. Raiders just signed him to a one-year, $5 million contract. And as always, you got some people on one side of the fence, some other people on the other. So we're going to break it down, my thoughts and what I think we should focus on moving forward with Vontaze Burfoct and not look so much into the negative side of things. And there's definitely both cases. There's some negative and there's definitely some positive. And I'm going to get into why we should be more positive than negative. So it was crazy, right? So the rumor was out there that Vontaze Burfoct would be let go. And we kind of figured that he would be a Raider just because of the connection between him and Paul Guenther. It made a lot of sense for the Raiders to bring him in and give him a shot. And a lot of people right away were just kind of like, no, do whatever you do not give me Vontaze Burfoct. You know, one, he's constantly injured. Number two, he causes a lot of penalties. There was also talk about him and Antonio Brown having beef. So let's go ahead and break that down first, right? So I really agree. The big red flag that I have personally is the injuries, because if we're going to give a guy even $5 million, you kind of want him to be on the field. And I'll break that down here in just a second. The other issue with the penalties, unfortunately, we're known for penalties, and we seem to overcome as long as everything else is moving properly. And number three, the Antonio Brown beef. Look, players have beefs all the time, and we got to keep in mind that this was back when obviously he was a Cincinnati Bengal and Antonio Brown was a Steeler. They're in-division rivals. So we understand what that means as Raider fans, right? Come on. We got the Broncos, we got the Chiefs, we got the Chargers. We all have beef. We all have some kind of feeling towards players, and players have, we got the Talib and Crabtree thing back in the day. And supposedly they're kind of trying to work that kind of stuff out. And this stuff happens. And I think that they're, as professionals, as competitors, they'll get over that part of it. I'm not too concerned necessarily about how that's going to work itself out. I think expect maybe some words being exchanged out there on the field during training camp. That may be a possibility. But then again, I really think that may be a good thing. And that's why I'm going to get into, why Vontaze Burfoct is here, in my opinion. For the longest time, this defense has lacked some swagger. And we could talk about some players that either maybe had swagger or played with swagger. So to me, there's two different things. Bruce Irvin had some swagger, but he didn't necessarily put that together or show it week after week. In my opinion, it was very spotty, but he did bring a lot of energy. He did bring some spunk. He was active on Twitter. He called out some players on other teams. This is the kind of swagger that I think that we need, but we also need it to be backed up. And Vontaze Burfoct went on the field, not only going to talk the talk, but this guy walks the walk. Unfortunately, it just doesn't happen. That's my only real issue with this, with the exception what I believe that Paul Guenther, Mike Mayock, and John Gruden are actually trying to do with Burfoct here. So, Burfoct to me is, just like we've said it many times before, he's going to be a stopgap kind of guy. He's going to be the guy that comes in here. He's going to set the defense. He's going to help Guenther coach the defense, if you will, especially in mini camps, going into training camps. This is going to be a setting for Burfoct to really kind of set his tone, his swagger, his mentality of what Guenther really is trying to bring to this defense. Now, it's going to translate on the field as long as he stays healthy. But don't make no mistake about it. Linebacker is a need for us. It has been a need for us. We have players like Markel Lee and Jason Kabinda, and, we have guys in place that can play the game, but they have not yet shown that type of linebacker attitude that at least I'm looking for out of this. So it's a great piece to put into to the puzzle right now as we try to get this thing moving forward. Now, we're going to draft a linebacker, in my opinion, guys. I really believe we'll get it within the first 3 picks. Now, this also sets up our draft board. Now, there's a lot of guys. We're going to do a draft show coming up, within the next couple of weeks. So I don't want to get into certain players at this point. But what I do want to get into is how the Raiders are actually with their free agency are really lining up their board good. Now, in my opinion, with that 4th pick, I want to move back. And I believe the Raiders want to move back as well. I think they want to gather some more picks. There is a ton of defensive pass rushers in this draft. I don't think it's as important to get one right away unless the guy that you absolutely feel is perfect for your team is there. If it is not there, then you're definitely taking in the phone calls. You're definitely going to move back and see what you can get and see who you potentially can target as you move back. But once we get that 4th pick out of the way, whether we drop back or not, and you start headed into pick 24 and pick 27 and pick 35, that's when you start manipulating your board. So if you can actually move back with number 4 and gather up some picks, you put yourself in position to move up and gather some other players that you may have targeted that you wouldn't get if you just didn't have any collateral to move up, if that makes sense. So that's something that I'm personally looking forward to. Try to make a move on number 4 and go back, gather some picks, and use that to use you for 24 or 27 to move up to actually get the guy that you want. So again, we have to let this all play out. That's all speculation at this point. But Vontaze Burfoct is the guy that you bring in that helps you manipulate your board. He's a guy that's going to set the tone of your defense. He's going to help Paul Guenther call his defense. He's going to bring swagger and a real strong, hardcore mentality that even with all the rule changes in today's NFL that makes it very hard, and the penalties that he receives, the penalties that other people are going to receive because the rules are so strict, you still need to bring that swagger. You still need to have a sense of confidence and an attitude on defense that puts fear into other players. And when you got teams out there like the Los Angeles Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs, who right now are 2 high-powered offenses, we have to be ready to match them physically. And that's what Vontaze Burfoct is going to bring to this team. He's going to bring a physical presence that's going to help set the tone and put it just that much more fear into the opposing offenses that we need. We need that swagger, guys. We really need to set that tone. We're going to have a lot of young guys. Let's face it. We're bringing in a lot of young guys. We got a lot of young new faces. Conley's still young. Worley's still considered young. We got Arden Key still young. Mo Hurst still young. Hall still young. Justin Jelly Ellis is the only really veteran on that defensive line besides the new guy, Moreau, that we just signed. Now, again, we're going to have some pass rushers guaranteed within the first 3 picks. We'll probably have 2 pass rushers for sure. Maybe 3 if you consider a linebacker with pass rushing ability. These guys need to be coached up by a veteran that has the right kind of NFL attitude and get them ready for the physicalness of a 16-week schedule. And I can't really express that enough. So when I look at this pick, yes, I could be that the glass half full type mentality where you say, does this really make sense? His numbers are good even for the time that he has played, but I'm more concerned about the time he has not played. But again, apples to oranges at this point. This guy can really help Guenther coach up this defense. He could also bring a sense of physicality and a sense of purpose to this defense that I think is important as we move forward. It's only going to cost us $5 million. I say let's go for it. 5 to 8 games, and I think I just saw this glitch. We're going to get into that here in a second, but we need that moving forward. $5 million, whether he's on this team or not. 5 games, 8 games. I'd like to at least get 8 games out of this guy, help him really grow and prepare the guys that we're drafting and bringing in, set the tone, coach them up, give them a mentality, give them some swagger. So when he does, because most likely, if going off, his record, he will get hurt. So moving forward, we need to make sure that the guys that are coming in behind him are prepared, understand the defense, and kind of adopt that swagger and that no quit mentality, like, the toughness that Vontaze Burfoct is going to bring to this defense. And that's pretty much what I got to say about that, because I could see this thing just getting glitchy by the minute. I could see myself jumping around. I don't even know how much of this is going to even show up. This is why I want to do podcasts, guys. I still want to do YouTube Live. I want to use YouTube Live for a lot of different things moving forward. We're going to do some house cleaning right now because I have plans, and I want to kind of go over a little bit of what I'm thinking when it comes to my plans moving forward. I mentioned it before in a couple of shows ago. I definitely going to go the podcast route, and I'm going to get into some of the reasons why. I'm a communicator. I like to talk. That's what I do. And being a visually impaired, legally blind person, my voice is my greatest asset. So video doesn't always serve me justice, although I want to implement video into what I do because I believe it really sells what I'm trying to grow. And that's the thing. I mean, I've been absent for 2.5 years, and I'm seeing it in my numbers. My videos are not getting a lot of play. They're not getting a lot of views. I'm getting a lot of love, and I want to thank everybody who's been supporting this channel since I've kind of re-upped it, if you will. And thank you, guys. Could you just totally share these videos, get the name back out there, help me spread the word that the Will to Win is back up and running. And moving forward, you know, as we go into a podcast format, we're implementing some. I got some new equipment. I was trying it out yesterday. It's really starting to come together. I'm just waiting for a few more things. Then I got to line up my schedule, and then we'll see how it all starts to play out. But look for the podcast version of the Will to Win coming soon, coming real soon. And I'm going to make sure that it gets on iTunes. It's going to get on SoundCloud. It's going to get on Spotify, because I think that's going to help get the Will to Win out there. Because I think the podcast is the new up and coming thing. Well, it's not necessarily new. It's been out for quite a while, but it's the easiest access when you're in your car or you're just sitting at home. Just listen to the audio. You don't need to see this mug. Let's face it, you just don't need to see this mug. But yeah, that's the plan moving forward. I got some plans. I got some things I'm trying to work out, and we're just going to try to push that forward. I just want to thank everybody who's supported the show, who's took the time to come back and support me as I come back and try to get this thing going again. I'm trying to look here and see if I can access, because I know I turned it on. I really want to try to connect with you guys. I mean, some of the guys that I've seen, I don't like always doing this because I always end up forgetting somebody, but there's been a ton of people that have been saying, you know, welcome back and things like that. Watts Raider. Who doesn't love some Watts Raider? Watts Raider, big shout out to you, man. Also, Shawshank Raider, man, we go back, dude. I love that name. I still love the voice. I'd like to get phone calls going again, even if it's on voicemail. Like I said, guys, I have a lot of plans. We just got to get this thing going. Right now, I'm just trying to get some material out there. So Vontaze Burfoct situation came up. I'm trying to get some audio things lined up and get my podcasting equipment up and running. And I'm going to start putting out a lot more content. So, you know, that's where we're at, you know, hopefully moving forward. We can get this to work a lot better, especially with the internet. I mean, YouTube is just not what it used to be, guys. It really ain't. It's a whole different format. I definitely want to use it as a podcast platform for you guys to also get it live, but also have the ability to rip the audio and put it out there. And that's the plan moving forward. So stay tuned. Please stay in touch. If you guys want me to answer any questions, you can email me at the W2W@gmail.com. That is W2W@gmail.com. You could also find me on Twitter at the Will to Win. That's also the Will #2 Win. Look me up on there. You could also ask me questions there. Just hashtag W2W review, and I will answer your questions on the next video. Until then, guys, hang in there. You know, keep your eyes on what's going on with the Raider Nation right now, because they're really building. They're really put there. It's exciting. And until then,